Hey guys, off the Mike Sports Network here. Another edition of Browns thoughts, following up on the NFL draft. So the story obviously is the Browns make the big trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they now get number 5, which they took Mason Graham out of Michigan, and now they add pick 36, and I think it was they added another pick to the fold as well in pick 126 as well to the haul that they have to for this draft. They also made a under the radar trade with Houston, where I think they picked up a couple of fifth rounders, I think, out of it. It was something happened. So the Browns are loaded in terms of picks in this. But the question becomes now, they're starting the second round. They hold all the cards to the rest of this draft. What do they do at 33? There is a number of different directions that they can go. Obvious, the number one thing that is going to be talked from pillar to post is just from every angle that is going to be on a debate show is not that Cam Ward went number 1, not that Travis Hunter went number 2. It's that who didn't go, and that is Shedeur Sanders. And I have been as critical as anybody about Shedeur Sanders and how I really was not a fan of his, and I don't know if it's worth the pick. Listen, if they took him at 33, I'd be fine with it. That's out there. That being said, I'm pretty convinced that if push comes to shove, they could potentially take Will Johnson, the cornerback out of Michigan, which would almost be kind of hilarious and kind of like, almost painful for Ohio State fans who root for the Cleveland Browns. So that's on the table. Luther Burden, the wide receiver out of Missouri, who has some drawbacks that a lot of people, but I've always thought he is a supremely talented wide receiver. That would be great. And then the other thing is, like, they've got other quarterbacks on the board. You've got Jalen Milroe, who obviously I have pointed out throughout this entire draft process since Tommy Rees was hired as the offensive coordinator. Jalen Milroe had maybe his most successful year as a collegiate player with Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator at Alabama. So that is definitely on the table as well. So Jalen Milroe, Tyler Shuck, I would definitely, prefer it not to be Tyler Shuck out of those 3, but I would not be stunned if Shedeur Sanders is not the pick at 33 and the Browns opt to pass on him again. And whether it is Jalen Milroe or it is somebody else, another position, I'm not going to be stunned. And a lot of people are going to hate that because, again, it's all about flash and substance. But I'm here to tell you that I think there is more boom to, yes, there's a little bit more of a lower floor. But I think the ceiling is much higher for Jalen Milroe than it is for Shedeur. Jalen Milroe has a lot more room to grow. I think Shedeur is closer to more of a finished product. He may fit better in a Stefanski offense, but there's a reason why this guy didn't go first. And I'm going to talk about this in terms of like a big picture takeaway when it comes to Shedeur, but I'm not surprised he didn't go in the first round. Some people may be, but I saw this for 2 years on the D1 level. This guy was basically just barely above 500 as a quarterback. So do the Browns see the value in a guy who a lot of people were high on? It was a very mixed bag. Or do they go with the higher ceiling guy, I think, in Jalen Milroe, who is going to take some time? And they've got people in that building. They've got Joe Flacco. They've got Kenny Pickett. What do you do in that situation? So it's going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out at 33, because I think what happens at 33 is going to dictate what happens at 36. So let's say, hey, they take somebody else that's not a quarterback at 33. That tells me, hey, they think 34 and 35, like whether a quarterback comes in between and Shedeur goes, then, hey, you're banking on, hey, Jalen Milroe's still going to be there at 36. So I think that they're playing this. This is why I love the move, because now it sort of protects you in like, hey, like, you can do more in that big sweet spot at the top of the second round where there's still a lot of good players available. So they've got a lot of flexibility, and it's very interesting to see what they're going to do. But again, I think the big story tomorrow, or depending on today, whenever you watch this, is what are the Cleveland Browns going to do? Because I have a feeling they will take a quarterback with one of those 2 picks. I'd be surprised if it wasn't, but then again, hey, maybe they like Will Howard, and maybe they come back and get Will Howard. That's also on the table as well. So this is very interesting, and I'm definitely more optimistic about this team than I have been in a while. because they did the sensible thing. They traded back. They didn't go for the splash thing. And I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings, but listen, like, you don't win with box office attractions in the NFL, okay? You win with players, okay? And I understand that the Browns had a historically bad offense. Part of that was because they had a historically bad quarterback situation. They also changed the offense to him, and the offense didn't fit the personnel that they had. They now are going back to what made them successful. So you have a ton of draft capital. Travis Hunter, you don't know what that was going to be. And, hey, if he goes to Jacksonville and tears it up, awesome, okay? I don't think Jacksonville's winning a fucking Super Bowl with that guy. I don't. They made the right decision. And again, like I said, getting 36 to back up 33, that gives them a lot of flexibility with what they want to do in this situation. And on top of that, by extension, they also have the one next year, which some people think the Jags are going to be good. I don't know what universe you're in. If you have been watching the Jacksonville Jaguars for the last couple of years, they've been basically like they've had two 10 wins, 9 or 10 win seasons, a couple playoff berths in the last 25 years. The hell are we talking about, man? This is not a well-run organization. It's fitting because, hey, it's Tony Khan's dad running the thing. I had to slide in that AEW dig for you idiots and you marks who just want to dunk on me because you think I hate AEW. Just a troll. Just a troll in this video because, I say, oh, man, Mike, he can't quit it. You know what? Screw you, okay? Okay, so this is very interesting. We'll see what happens. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe here on the channel. Like I said, we're at almost 1,150 subscribers. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 9 months with this. You guys have been riding with me. It's amazing. I appreciate everything that you guys do for this channel to support it. Love you, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.